Hello and welcome to your JCTV Daily News Update. I'm Lyndon Schmidt. First, I'd like to say congratulations, fellow students. We made it through another semester. As you might know, today was the last day of classes for the year of 2009, and we are now home free for 3 weeks. We're also less than 10 days from Christmas. Could things get any better? I think not. The Jamestown Police Department will be out and about, though, making sure celebrations don't get too out of hand. They'll also run regular alcohol compliance checks at local restaurants and bars to make sure owners are preventing underage drinking. Here's Jana Hansen with that.
For the most part, everyone knows what happens to a minor when they get caught drinking underage. But what happens to the bartender, server, and establishment that serve you? I talked to Sergeant Thomas Nagel, who's in charge of the program that helps bartenders and servers check IDs.
Server training compliance checks is what it is. It's a grant that's issued by the state that's divvied down to the local governments, Jamestown being one of them. That we also do it in Bismarck, Fargo, Grand Forks, Dickinson, and Minot. And basically what it is there's a problem with underage drinking. And when the states all got together and looked at it, they wanted to help solve the problem with underage drinking, just like they did with the Justice Say No program. So when they looked at it and they find out how do we cure this, and the matter is just getting out and going to the people that distribute the alcohol. And when they did their studies, they found out that fake IDs is a very big and profitable business in the United States. And we found out that it's also very big here in North Dakota. So we decided, the state decided to do is they allocated this money down for us to go out into our server, into our local businesses and our organizations, and to teach them how to spot fake IDs and basically how to check an ID and what to look for.
I talked to college student and part-time bartender Michael Smith, who failed a compliance check 3 years ago, to see what he now does differently.
Especially if they're even close to, if I think they're under 25 or so, I always, at least for sure. I mean, I card people, in their mid-30s all the time, and I mean, every table is in the back of my head, especially, I mean, I try to card whether I think it's like somebody that might be a sting or a compliance check or not. I card everybody, but I know some of the tables that I think that could be, just by what they order and like who's there and that kind of stuff.
But what are the consequences to serving a minor for a bartender and establishment? For the bartender or server, the offense is a Class A misdemeanor with up to a $500 fine. For the establishment,
We actually went back in, we identified the problem. Under the old law that we had, the way we did it is if the establishment served a minor, right away they were suspended and they got a healthy fine. Well, when we looked at this, when we identified problems, we thought that was a little bit too stiff. So we went back to our city council, we explained what we were doing, what we thought would be a better one. And so what it is now is if, in the city of Jamestown, if you get caught serving a minor, okay, and it's a $500 penalty or a $500 fine for your administrative fine. And then it's a second offense, it goes up to $1,000, and the third offense up to $1,500, and then you have to go in front of the council and explain why your liquor license should not be suspended or revoked. And that goes on a 2-year basis.
so how do you prevent it?
Once a month, we teach a class, and we send out letters to all the liquor establishments, and we tell them the times they need to show up for, if they have any personnel that needs to show up, and then we start the class from there. Now, the advantage to this is if you had the class and you've actually served somebody, is you get basically a written warning and no fine. So there's a benefit to sending your employees to this class. But I think the important part is as long as they do what they're taught in the class, ask the questions, and if they don't know that person, it takes 2 to 3 seconds to card somebody.
If you would like more information about the class, you can call Jamestown Police Department and ask for Thomas Nagel. This is Jana Hansen signing off.
Thanks, Jana. In Jimmy Sports, with this being finals week, all JC sports teams have been inactive. However, the men's basketball team will travel to Dickinson tomorrow to compete in the Wendy's Classic. First, they'll play MSU Moorhead at 3 o'clock, then play at the same time Saturday against Johnson & Wales. The men currently have a record of 8-4 with a record of 1-1 in the Dakota Athletic Conference. Now, the women who have not played this week have had a season to remember thus far. At 12-2 through their first 14 games, the 5th-ranked Jimmies already have wins against number 3 Northwestern College and number 13 Minot State. The bar was set pretty high long before games were even played for the Jimmies, who had the bulk of last year's NAIA tournament team back. While Coach Mark Weiss says his team is aware of their lofty number 5 ranking, they're not spending any time dwelling on it. Weiss said, quote, "I think the girls realize there's a target on their back, but it's not something we talk about or worry about a whole lot. It's not something where we're putting any extra pressure on ourselves," end quote. The women are outscoring their opponents by nearly 20 points per game and making nearly half of their shots from the field. Senior Julie Veriano is currently nursing a toe injury and leads the team with 12.5 points per game. Katie O'Neill has a little over 12 points per game, and point guard Kelly Schuneman is averaging 11. They are also in double figures for the team. Amanda Randapaugh has almost 8 points per game. Corey Dobeck with 7.5, and Allison Epping with 7.5 also. And Allie Edwards, the volleyball star, is averaging 4.5 points per game, and Krista Schakowski has 4.5 points per game as well. That gives them 8 players averaging over 4 points per game. Their next game is December 21st when they make a trip to St. Cloud, Minnesota to play St. Cloud State in an exhibition match. And that's it for your Thursday broadcast. For everybody here at the Jamestown College Student Media Center, we wish you a happy holiday season. This has been Lyndon Schmidt with your JCTV Daily News Update, connecting the campus with the community.